Good morning. Right now it is 8:52. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to smash the share button. I got Dr. Aaron Chapa here in studio. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and switch it on to the FM as we are going to be forcing everybody in the building to be listening to what we have to say because they're playing us right outside. And there's going to be a lot of people here on campus today. It's going to be a good day.
That's awesome.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 8:53 in the morning on a beautiful Tuesday. That means we have Dr. Aaron Chapa. My name is Gardy. We're hanging out, having a good time. This is Kickstart. We're spreading some positivity today. Dr. Aaron Chapa is with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, right, in beautiful League City, Texas, which is just rated one of the top 10 safest places to live in the United States.
Is it really? I did not see that article.
I saw it yesterday for the first time, and then I saw Mayor Pat Hallisey, had shared it, and there was a lot of other people who were sharing that information. So that's pretty cool. I think Pearland was on the list, League City was on the list, and then other places in the United States.
That's pretty awesome, man. Well, this is Dr. Aaron Chapa, and I am glad to be here sharing this positivity and just taking in another moment of fresh air and God's grace as we've all been blessed to be alive and well this morning. So we pray that you listening out there in Radio Land and or on Facebook and our digital sources, that you're well, and that if you're not well, that you're tuning into the show because you want to get well. And we believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to either get traction and move forward in the direction you want it to go, or unfortunately slip down that slippery slope to dis-ease. Or some people call it disease.
Disease. So before we hop too much into everything that we're going to get into, I want to make sure that I invite you, Dr. Chapa, tonight to Jesse Duplantis at the Unshakable Conference. We talked about it. I know you're going to try and be here, but it's been a great time. It starts at 7 p.m. tonight at Abundant Life, and you're a big Jesse fan, aren't you?
I am an absolute big Jesse fan. Have grown up listening to Jesse Duplantis at Lakewood Church when John Osteen would invite him down. And him, I guess Kenneth Copeland and the whole bunch there were really taking off and building this, this televangelistic market. And it was really neat to kind of look back in time and see like how much forerunners these guys were in leveraging technology at a time in the world where it was TV was new, kind of not popular to spread it that way. And now, I mean, look at where we're at now. We have all these digital streams, and if you go look up Jesse Duplantis, he's got video after video after video. I mean, hundreds of millions of people have been blessed by this guy, and he is an absolute gem. And, and I love about him is that dude has got unshakable faith. It's funny if y'all named the conference Unshakable because that dude has unshakable faith, and it is very, very awesome to see people walking in that unshakable faith, and I want to learn to grow in that myself. So if you've got the time and you're in the area, man, come get some food, spiritual food from Jesse Duplantis, 7 p.m. Abundant Life Christian.
If he was just starting his ministry today, I wonder if he would be like a Christian comedian on social media, just like Facebook, straight up. You know how there are those guys that they're hilarious, and I feel like they do serve a great purpose because it's okay to have, good, clean, fun and laughs and still get a message.
Do you know that he plays like 6 different musical instruments?
I knew he was a musician, but I've never had the opportunity to hear him play.
Yeah, it was in his pre-Jesus days.
Yeah,
and when he played all these shows and stuff, and now he plays his vocals on preaching the Word of God, which I think is pretty awesome.
So it's 8:56 right now. We have Dr. Aaron Chapa from Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center in studio. I think we're talking about flu season.
Yeah, we're talking about the medicine tool chest. It's kind of like the game. So flu is going to come up in that conversation, and I figured we could definitely it's right time. I mean, I had 3 people come in yesterday that were not on my books that became on my books because they were sick, and it all started Friday morning, Friday at night, Saturday night, after the onslaught of
candy sugar, 31st,
candy sugar, and everything else that went down on the 31st that people forget, or and it baffles my brain that we don't put 2 and 2 together. And it's still, I mean, and I do this for a living, right? So I mean, like I see it as clear as day But I have to always appreciate that people don't see what I see. They don't see that wellness is a possibility that we are in control of. They think it's, I'm sick today, and it's just unfortunate for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever I have patients come in that are dealing with an illness for the last 2 weeks, I have to ask the question, what is going on that an illness would last 2 weeks in your body? I mean, it shouldn't. I mean, if you get the flu, at worst, maybe 5 days, you know what I mean? But like some of these infections evolve into like pneumonia or scarlet fever or, whatever they decide to venture off. and so to me, that means the body was already weak. The body was already compromised. It was already in a state of decline where the infection took root instead of being plucked out like a weed with a little root. And so we're always shooting to intervene as quickly as possible, but even whenever the root system has seemingly divulged deeper into the tissues and deeper infections are starting to manifest and symptoms are starting to get worse, and you start getting that green crud coming out at your head, and you're coughing up and hacking up a lung, and you're scaring your family members because you think that, is everything okay in there? You know what I mean? What's going on? That doesn't sound normal. And then only to find out that they couldn't even get it all up and out. It was that stuck down deep in their tissues. It would have a possibility of having a control on that. And that's what I give people at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, is teach them how to have control over their health, when most of the time all they are solutioned with is an antibiotic. Well, unfortunately, an antibiotic is like 9 lives of a cat. So if that's all you're using, you're whittling that down. So I hope that you only plan to be sick 9 times in your life, and because they won't really work. And I don't even think they work that many times, in my humble but accurate opinion. I really believe that you've got to bolster, you've got to strengthen, you've got to make the immune system vibrant and capable of standing on its own against the bugs. Because as we study infections and as we study the mutations of infections that we're seeing in this day and age, we see that the infections can replicate very, very quickly in the body. Mm-hmm. So people go, well, that's why we need an antibiotic. Well, what if you trusted the body and that God created it to heal, right? And then the body is capable of mounting an attack equally as fast as the bugs are replicating. And that is the beauty of a healthy immune system. But if all you ever lean on is antibiotics or steroids or shots, what winds up happening is the body becomes accustomed to being weak. And we're literally breeding weakness into our culture. And I know that some people would disagree with me there, but all I'm going to challenge you is find comfort in your body's ability to heal itself, and then give yourself the radical tools that we give people to bolster and strengthen. And I'm talking radical, basic minerals, things we should be getting from the ground. It's not radical at all. It's basically just tools to help strengthen different aspects of your body's foundation, your immune system. Essential fatty acids, minerals, and a basic vitamin is a great place to start. And then once we evolve past that, we start looking at other factors that can be causing weakness in your body. So I know people are out there suffering with illnesses that have lasted longer than a day or 2 or 3, and sometimes weeks, and they progress into something more serious and life-threatening. But let's recognize that you are in control, and you have more control than you may have ever given yourself credit.
My brother-in-law has a cough that's lasted for a couple weeks, and I think I've been there. I've been there before. It's like, man, I just can't seem to shake this from my life. I don't need this right now. I feel better than I did before, or it just kind of goes like a roller coaster cycle where you got this constant cough, constant crud. You mentioned like the green stuff coming out of your head. it's pretty disgusting. And I see you taking some stuff right now. Speaking of disgusting, what is this?
Yeah. So you knew I was going to bring some treats. I meant to bring more, but really I have such a medicine tool chest to share. I don't know how to bring it all in here. So I just thought I would talk to different concepts that either people have questions about. So we definitely welcome questions if you have questions. If you're struggling with a fever, if you're struggling with a cough, if you're struggling with the green crud, yellow crud, or even the clear crud that people are dealing with. It is the fall, and fall season allergies are apparent as well. So I know it's not technically illness and flu and sickness, but it is definitely a burden that can progress into something more serious. But what it is that I'm consuming over here is one of my favorite immune builder products that I wanted to bring because it's just easy. Man, it travels well and it's fast acting. And it's called INF Fighter. It's Golden Seal, Chaparral, and Echinacea. Golden Seal is very mucous membrane productive. It helps to strengthen your external fences against the outside world. So whenever you do digest a bug or you put too much sugar in and your system becomes compromised due to basically the attack of the sugar on our cellular membranes, the Golden Seal can help produce a healthy layer of immune support against the holes in the fence from the outside world, so to speak. The chaparral is a desert hardy plant, and basically it is so hardy, it grows in the desert. I mean, think of that. And so its resilience in the body is it builds resilience in the body, and it is a very strong antimicrobial. It's a very strong herb, and it strengthens the cells to keep fighting even when they're tired. And then the echinacea has long been touted as an immune modulator, a blood thinner, a blood brain support, a circulatory flow, T-cell upregulator. I mean, it can do so many things in the body. And so herbs are very interesting in the fact that herbs, one, know no gender, meaning they don't care if you're a male or female or if you're young or old or if you're black or white or whatever, right? They work in the body, on the cells, in a very synergistic way. And so if I just take Golden Seal and Golden Seal alone, I'm going to get one effect on mucous membranes. But when I bring it into a relationship with Echinacea and Chaparral, now I create an antimicrobial. And so the same with the Echinacea. So instead of targeting its neurological properties, although it still has those, it's more focused on immunological building. And so every plant, just like you sitting out there listening, you act a certain way whenever you're by yourself compared to when you're in the crowd, or when you're at church, or when you're at a social function for a family reunion. Everybody acts differently around certain people. Well, herbs are no different. When you synergize these plants together, what they do is they have a different effect in our body chemistry. So you'll see echinacea in a lot of formulas that we use, and I find that a lot of times we have the ability to use echinacea, but throttle it up in brain function, throttle it up in cardiovascular function, or in this case, immunological function. And so INF Fighter is one of my favorite herbs, and it tastes terrible, but it absolutely works wonderful. And so I give this to kids.
Can I do a drop?
Absolutely.
How much?
30 drops.
30 drops.
One full droppers if you can get it.
All right.
And so this is just one of those things that I use not normally as a first line of defense. I typically use something called Congoplex, and it's pretty strong, huh?
I know it's working. I'll say that. This is doing something.
Well, here's the other really cool things before I kind of get into the medicine tool chest is that when you use herbs are bitter, and most Americans do not have a bitter palate. And because they lack a bitter palate, they miss out on a lot of the immunological building capacity, the digestive strengthening capacity of what the body is capable of. Mm-hmm. And so developing a bitter palate once, twice, 3 times a day, I mean, it's what? At the end of the day, it's over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone. I mean, so it's less than 30 seconds, and the torture's over. So when people say, oh, I can't do it, it tastes too bad, I say, listen, it's 30 seconds of misery for about 2 hours of good to 3 hours of good in your body.
And it's not even that bad. It's not that bad.
It's not. It's mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
Right.
And I try to get people to recognize it's just something they've never had before. It's bitter. So start by taking that same 30 drops that you shot straight, and you can put it in a tablespoon of water. This ought to be in your medicine tool chest, INF Fighter. Secondarily, what should be in your medicine tool chest is a product called Congaplex. Congaplex is Congaplex. Some people call it Conjaplex. I don't know why I like to call it Congaplex. I've always called it that, and people make fun of me for not calling it by its appropriate name. But that's appropriate for me because that's what I was originally taught. But it is for congestion. It's for helping the body fight off, ward off, strengthen itself in the presence of infectious enemies. And so if there is a staph or strep present, if there's sinus congestion or lymphatic congestion in your throat, or you have lymph nodes swollen up underneath your jawbone, or if you even have swollen lymph nodes in the back of your neck or under your arms or in your groin, this is a product that could be very powerful in decongesting areas of the tissues. Now, how does it work? Well, it's 4 products merged together. There's a blend. And the way Royal Lee created this product is he blended 4 of his other products that he uses in the standard process line, and it is Cataplex AC. Cataplex AC was originally for gut thickening support. It's got the vitamin A and the C that strengthen the mucous membranes tight junctions, as well as help the mucous membranes ward away from any infectious burdens that are present in the digestive tract. Again, the digestive tract is your first line of defense, which is another reason why when we have an onslaught of candy, or we go into Thanksgiving now eating nothing but pies
and sides
and side dishes,
the good stuff,
and that's a very good point. And then going into Christmas with more candy and more junk food and more pies and more sides, all of a sudden we've got literally 3 months in the heart of the fluctuating weather, typically cold and somewhat rainy a lot of times, where the immune system is already burdened and now it's compromised even further at the digestive tract level. And so when the digestive tract is compromised, you're more susceptible to infections. And Cataplex AC is that very line of defense that helps in the Congaplex.
You know, Dr. Chapa, I have a very interesting question that just popped up on the feed.
Yeah.
And this is something that I remember hearing as a very young kid. Hey, if you're sick, you're not feeling well, let's drink some Sprite. If I'm sick, if I've been, and it just seems Sprite has sugar in it, right?
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. Is it okay to drink Sprite when I feel sick? I feel like it helps. It's a good question.
Typically, when you feel sick, reach for the Sprite, it's because you have what kind of sickness? Belly pain, right?
Okay.
Or you have some sort of nausea. Most of the time, people don't recommend it whenever you have a head cold. It's mostly when there's some sort of digestive, challenge going on. So what it is that the Sprite does is it's carbonated beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not the sugar that you need. So really, we could get these LaCroix and sparkling water and these little offshoot brands of sparkling carbonated beverages. That alone would be sufficient for soothing or helping deal with the digestive distress that's going on. And what it does is that carbonation is actually irritating to the digestive tract. So think about your skin. So everybody, scratch your skin right now and just watch over the next 30 seconds what happens. So you're rubbing yours. I'm talking like scratch it.
I'm going to get ashy.
No, yeah,
that's what's going to happen. That's why I was like, I'm going to rub mine because I don't want to be ashy all day.
So I just put one, good, Freddy Krueger scratch on my forearm.
Okay.
And it's already starting to get red.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you scratch your insides? It's really hard to get your fingers down your throat. I mean, it seems like I just can't quite get it in there.
I'm going to say you could eat like pecans.
Well, yeah, you got to eat something irritating. And that's the point. Yeah. It says carbonation is very irritating. Well, what you're seeing brew up on your skin, if you scratched your skin right now, is an immune response. Your immune system immediately went into action and said, hey, what just happened to our epidermis? Something just attacked it. I just stepped on an ant pile and the ants come rushing out, right? Well, your ants come up in the form of red streaks or however you scratched it. Well, the carbonation creates that same level of irritation in the intestinal enterocytes, the lining of your digestive tract, and now blood goes straight there. Guess what is in the blood?
I don't know.
Red and white blood cells.
Okay.
And these are carrying nutrients. They're carrying immunological support. So the way we help nauseousness is to take in something carbonated, and that carbonation then fuels up the blood to go to that area and evaluate, number one, and two, formulate an attack if need be against the issue. And typically the nausea is because something is stuck. Something is in a state of stagnation. Something is not moving through effectively. It is clogged.
Mm-hmm. That's not good.
And that's not. And so one of the things that we want to use the carbonation for is to help blood flow go to that area and dislodge the clog, or dislodge the stagnation, or decongest the congestion. And that's what the Cataplex AC will also do in your Congoplex, bringing it full circle back to it. And then we've got a second product called Thymex in there. Thymex can be bought alone by itself, and sometimes we use that especially when we need it to target that high lymph up in your head, ears, eyes, nose, throat area. Not allergies, again, sinusy stuff, inner ear infectious stuff, the eye sty or the clog, ducts in the eye ports, or you got a lot of gunk coming out of your nose or brewing in your sinus cavities. Thymex is really powerful. So the thymus gland, not your thyroid gland, but your thymus gland lives behind your chest bone. And when you have this chest bone, this thymus gland behind the chest bone, it's producing white blood cells, T cells. And we want these T cells to be called up into the ranks and more of them to be formulated when we're under attack, so that we can have a as fast replicatory strategic attack against the bugs attacking us. And that is also in the Congoplex. This is, again, why Congoplex should and will be one of your staples in your Dr. Chapa and Living Well Clinical Nutrition wellness plan, even if you don't take it every day. And then the third thing that's in there is a product called calcium lactate. Calcium lactate is 2 chemical reactions away from being used. Obviously, nothing calcium-based lives in an active state that is not natural. It doesn't occur that way. It always has to be bound to something. Most people are taking calcium and say, oh, I love calcium supplements, but they don't realize they're trying to digest seashells because it is 11 chemical reactions away from being used. That's typically called calcium carbonate. It is an useless type of calcium, and many people use that type of calcium thinking they're getting calcium, and we want to deter people from doing it because it's not giving you the bang for your buck you hope for. Instead, what it's doing is it's driving up your calcium-phosphorus ratio, which is potentially creating plaques in your valves of your heart. Not a good idea. It's causing plaquing to build up in your kidneys, a.k.a. a kidney stone. Not a pleasant experience, if anybody out there knows what that feels like. And so we can go in and readjust your calcium-phosphorus ratio. And this is, again, what we do at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is we understand the physiological workings of your body, understanding what you're going through symptomatically, and then we strategically build a plan with you and to attack whatever issues are on the forefront and those subtle subclinical issues that are a little bit harder to deal with that you haven't been able to find. And I think you're thinking to yourself, wow, that's a lot of information for one product. But guess what? There is more.
But wait. It's an infomercial.
That's
but
right.
wait, there is more.
There is.
It's
truly
good news, though, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Stuff.
It's great stuff. So the fourth and final ingredient in the Congoplex is another standalone product called ribonucleic acid. Ribonucleic acid, if you're familiar with biology and your science class back in high school, then what you remember is there's these little organelles inside of a cell. And what the ribonucleic acid lives in is in the nucleus. That's the mainframe, the brain of the cell, so to speak. And the ribonucleic acid is like the cellular blueprints for healthy replication. Obviously, you want your foreman to be able to read the blueprints well when he's building your house, correct?
Yes.
Yes. If he doesn't follow the blueprints, that he puts a door in the wrong spot, or he puts a window in the wrong spot, or he puts the roof in the wrong spot, that would not be good, right? So the blueprints have to be followed. Well, the ribonucleic acid is if you had a daily foreman coming in and exercising study and practice in reading the blueprints of your cellular makeup very well, so that those cells now replicate very quickly and accurately. That's always a plus. And so Congoplex has the ability to lift all aspects. So you might be thinking to yourself, why wouldn't I take something like that every day? You sure as heck could. And why wouldn't you? And guess what? Dr. Chapa gives his children this almost every day.
How many kids you have?
Every day.
You have 4?
I have 4. Yep.
And they all take it?
They all take it every day. They chew it. I have a chewable version for the little ones, and I have a swallowable version for the adult ones. And parents, this is probably the hardest conversation I'll have with you in my practice and on the radio. And most people that hear my voice will probably assume that I'm just, really hard and mean and not friendly, and it's not true. Recognizing that anything that has a slight disheartening taste, like the INF Fighter, for example, even the chewable Congoplex, which in my opinion tastes good because it tastes like cherries to me, but it is a little chalky. It's not designed to be a what is that little dip cone thing that people like to eat? An ice cream cone. It's not a snow cone. It's not donuts. It's not something that's to pleasure your taste buds. Remember, nothing below your taste buds wants sugar. Nothing. But everything below your taste buds wants resources. Everything below your taste buds wants you to feel vibrant and fresh. And that's what the Congoplex chewable can do. So when your kids, start whining about not liking the taste, confidently look them in the eye and say, little Johnny, this is going to make you better. Yes, you're going to get some rest. Yes, I'm going to give you water. But mommy and daddy are going to get you better because we don't have time for you to be sick. We don't have time for you to miss school. We don't have time for you to wallow around waiting for this to get better on your body's own. We're going to give your body the tools, the resources to fight the good fight because you are in control.
Did you use the name Johnny because of that song, Johnny, Johnny, Yes, Papa, Eating Sugar? No, Papa.
No, I didn't.
Telling lies?
I always say Little Johnny because I just think it's funny. Everybody knows a Little Johnny, and so it's just relatable. Now, if your name is John and Johnny is offensive, I hope not to offend you.
Oh, man. Right now, it is 9:19. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM right here in Galveston County. Let me know in the Facebook comments if you're watching on social media, where are you watching from? And then go ahead and share this video out. What we like to do here on KHEA Radio and every Tuesday specifically is talk about health, nutrition, wellness, getting off medication, getting healed, healing your body inside and out. And if you feel like anybody in your life can benefit from hearing this information, go ahead and smash the share button and then let me know what you're dealing with. It's flu season. That's what they say. October 31st happens. There's a lot of candy, a lot of sugar, and then we go through this up and down cycle of eating, maybe overeating, sweets, candy, sugar, desserts, all of the good stuff, the stuff that my body needs, or I've been trained to think that it needs, right? And that's not good for my health.
It's not. And for that, I have a little poem for all of you wonderful people.
Did you write this?
I wish.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to pretend like you did. Either way, Dr. Chopper wrote this.
Okay, here it comes. After the party, William Wise. Jonathan Blake ate too much cake. He isn't himself today. He is tucked up in bed with a feverish head and doesn't much care to play. Jonathan Blake ate too much cake and 3 kinds of ice cream, too. From his latest reports, he's quite out of sorts, and I'm sure the reports are true. I'm sorry to state he also ate 6 pickles, a pie, and a pear. In fact, I confess, it's a reasonable guess. He ate practically everything there. Yes, Jonathan Blake ate too much cake, so he's not his best today. But there is no need for sorrow. If you come back tomorrow, I'm sure he'll be out to play.
He could have done without the pickles. That's the one thing that stuck out. I'm like, really? How many pickles did this guy eat?
So isn't that good?
That's good.
We oftentimes, and people coming into the Thanksgiving holiday, into the Christmas holiday, it's also a consumptive issue. If you overconsume, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. So that means if you had a piece of candy and you limited it to a piece of candy, not 30 pieces, not 3 candy bars, if you didn't have the pickle too, then maybe you wouldn't feel out of sorts. So I had a little girl come in yesterday, and she had gone to the farm with her grandparents, and she got constipated. And she comes in yesterday with a sore throat. So we first want to clear the bowels. So we came in with a product to do just that. It's called intestinal cleanse number 3. And what we did is we flushed the bowels and we boosted her up with the Congoplex and the Thymex and Coral Legend. And so Coral Legend, since we haven't talked about it yet, is just basically an additional calcium magnesium source. And it's a powdered version. It tastes like literally nothing. And you can mix it in water, or you can just put a spoonful in your mouth and swish it down with some water, and you're good as gold. And when you have children, there's two things going on. There's two. Number one, they're constantly infiltrated with junk food, and Lord knows they love it. See, they don't have the mental fortitude, the developed frontal lobe yet to understand consequences, and it's only due to maturity. It's what the Bible says is, as a child, I thought as a child, I acted as a child. But as I grow and mature, I start to think and act differently. Most people do what they want to do, not what they know how to do. At Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we're trying to teach people how to live out their days well. We're trying to teach people how to live the best they can and recognize that if you overconsume is as bad as consuming the wrong stuff. Remember, what you eat's important, but what you
don't eat is more important.
There's no doubt about it. We can't lose that fallback point. Everything in life continues back to it. So if you overeat the bad, or if you just consume the bad, either way, it's contributing to your decline. And we want to make sure that we're ascending more than we're declining. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't mean you always have to be perfect. It just means that you have to work at it and be 70% on point.
Okay, there's a couple of comments and questions, and we are streaming on Facebook. We're on social media. Again, feel free to smash the share button. Let us know if you have any questions, and y'all are asking. This is Carla. She said, I love the poem. Dr. Chapa, can you share that poem, please? Where can somebody find that?
So just it's by William Wise. It's called After the Party by William Wise.
After the party, it's the hotel lobby.
Hey.
Okay. And
no,
then
After the Party is the name of the poem, and it's by William Wise. And so yes, it is a great poem, and I found it from my child's IEW Essentials Writing Academia by a gentleman named Andrew Pudwall. Andrew Pudwall is a brilliant human being. I got to meet him. I got to listen to him talk. You should Google him, really. If you have children that you would like to teach the art of writing to, creative writing, synopsis writing, research writing, Andrew Pudwall has a course curricula that will absolutely rock your socks. I've never seen anything like it. And it will make your writing skill better if you are writing or would like to write or like to journal or anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another question. This is from April, who is watching from KHEA. She said, can we hear about the benefits of vitamin D during the colder months? Also, did you touch on the subject of the effects parasites have on the body? She said her phone died. Does it make you more likely to get sick? So I guess the first part of that, does vitamin D have benefits during these colder months? You know, we're in November, December, January. It's kind of going to, dip down, at least for what we consider cold here in Texas.
Well, remember that a lot of times the vitamin D factor is, frankly, because we're away from the sun, right? So we need more vitamin D to help with calcium assimilation. So if you look at the way physiology works in the body, we need cod liver oil, we need sardines, we need anchovies, we need good omega-3s, omega-9s to be abundant in our body. So every program that I build has this in there. The reason it is in there is because I use those omegas to downregulate inflammatory cascades in the brain, in the cells, in the cardiovascular system, and pretty much every tissue, cell, organ in the body. So I can make a case that, if you're not taking essential fatty acids, you're missing a huge piece. And we have a great product called Omega Force, and basically a rich source of omega-3s and omega-9s. And we use that as a taxi service for carrying nutrition that we want to take to the cells so that the cells can function more effectively. The calcium rides in on the back, in this case, on the back of the essential fatty acids, and then we need vitamin D to open the cellular door into the cell the calcium goes and allows for immunological upregulation. And that could be calcium, magnesium, whatever direction and how the cells are needing to leverage the building blocks. Calcium and magnesium are the most abundant minerals in the body, and you must have them. But you can have all of them all you want, but not have enough vitamin D, and then basically find yourself, your blood sick with too much calcium and magnesium, because you leverage it into the right space. And so we have to have vitamin D for that. So it helps in the calcium absorption. And, vitamin D is known for its immunological properties, but it's because of the cellular door function. And it also maintains healthy bone development. So if you're a growing child, or if you're an elderly person that isn't as active as you once were, utilizing Wolff's Law, that law in which the more you use it, the more you build it, as opposed to the opposite, the less you use it, the more you lose it. And so if you look at vitamin D, it is a must, but we don't necessarily need to have absorbent amounts of vitamin D every day all the time. So, I do leverage vitamin D at high levels at times. When people come in and their vitamin D level's a 17, when medicine says it should be a 30, Dr. Chapa says it should be at a 60 to 70 or even 80 level on your blood reports.
How do you even measure that? Is it like a
blood
test? A blood test,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah, and we do those out in the office. Well, actually, we send them out, but we order those in the office, and we can see what your blood markers are looking like. And when they're low, we will leverage vitamin D to be a benefit to pull you back out of the rut you're in, because I've seen everything from thyroids turn back on to energy come back into play to people that are normally always sick stop getting sick just by having a healthy dose of vitamin D. It's in every one of the cancer protocols that we build because the immune system depends on it.
Okay, Dr. Chapa, right now it's 9:28. Dr. Chapa, you're with Living Well Clinical Nutrition. This is a question from Bridget, and this may be your first time to tune in. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Absolutely.
stop on Facebook, of all places,
Awesome.
and hang out with us. So she says, is this an actual clinic? Can you share where your location is and what you specialize in, how long you've been doing what you do?
Yeah, so I've been in practice about 15 years in the League City area. We were originally in South Shore Harbor, then moved up to East Main Street in League City, right across from a snow cone stand, right next door to an awesome clothing store, and we're surrounded by the beautiful trees and all those cool parks where people like to take wedding photos and leverage different aspects of the beauty of historical League City. So we're in a little cute cottage there at 815 East Main Street, League City, Texas 77573, and our website is justlivewell.com, justlivewell.com, and we would love to service you, your family, teach you how to live well, be well, and get well one bite at a time each day and every day. And we believe truly that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to either spiral out of control or to get traction and start moving forward in a way that is conducive to your hopefully lifelong plan to live out your days whole, healthy, strong in spirit, mind, and body.
One of my favorite parts about your website is that there are surveys, questionnaires. You can go on there and start immediately and send that information, and it'll kind of get you on the track. That's probably the first step to getting, if you feel like you're spiraling out of control, maybe you don't have the answers, that's an option you can take to get a grasp on what's going on, figuring out what the issues are and how you can find the solution starting today. So it's 9:30 right now. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM right here in beautiful Galveston County, broadcasting from the campus of Abundant Life in Lamarck, Texas. We love to spread positivity, talk about things going on in the community. If you want to email me, you can email me, KHEA@KHEARadio.com. I love to talk about local businesses. I love to talk about positive things going on, and today is no exception. Every Tuesday, we have Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio talking about how you can just live well.
Hey, I like that.
And the topic right now is kind of what can you
Immune.
do to stay healthy during this time?
That's right. And so, when people come in and they have a weak digestive tract, they are vulnerable and penetratable to the outside world. There are parasites and pathogens on the food that you're eating every day. I mean, if you lick your arm right now, you just gobbled up, a couple trillion bacteria. And so, we're inundated with bacteria. You cannot kill them. So this idea that you can rub yourself with antimicrobials and that you could be a germaphobe, it's useless. It's impossible. And the reality is go ahead, wash your hands after you use the restroom. But at the end of the day, this idea of eradicating bacteria is not the way the body works. It is a synergistic organism. It leverages bacteria, it leverages parasites, it leverages fungi to do a job in the body. And so what is the job of a parasite? A job of a parasite is to return you to dust, to decay your body back to that for which it was, dust. dust to dust. God already knew that one day we were going to have to recycle the bodies, and we were going to have to put them in the ground, and the earth was going to consume them. And then the fungi are there to leverage and chelate toxins and chemicals and metals in the body. And as we age and get older, especially in America, where, believe it or not, we are, one of the more sick nations in the world when it comes to sicknesses, diagnoses, and number of medications that we're managing ourselves with. And it's a sad place to be, because we have all this wealth, we have all this research and all this good science, but yet it seems like we're just managing symptoms. It seems like we're just giving people pills for ills. And you might say, well, aren't you giving a pill for an ill when you give Congaplex or you give, Ionophyter? And I'm like, no, contrary, actually. What we're doing is we're giving your body resources to ward off, fight off, and defeat infections as it was designed to. I'm not curing your infection. I'm not supporting your staph or your strep. I'm not supporting even your parasites. What I'm dealing with is I'm feeding sick bodies. We live in a culture where we are feeding people pharmaceuticals and fake food, make-believe food, to people that are being diagnosed with conditions that are caused from malnutrition. And malnutrition is something that I want to address and get people fed right. And that's why we do the work that we do, and we give people the options that we give them. And we do. It is sometimes a challenge, and sometimes we lose a battle here or there, but ultimately the war is ours to win, and we're going to teach people how to do it. And then we know that if you stick with it long enough, if you follow through the recommendations to the best of your ability, you're going to get better. Everybody does, and we're confident to say that. And it is work. You've got to be willing to discipline yourself to drink fluids, not juice. Like, my kids don't drink juice. Now, do they get some juices from time to time? Of course they do, right? We're not like those parents that don't let them eat anything. They live in a bubble,
Yeah.
That's not realistic, and I don't want you to feel that. But I do want you to recognize that when we go out to a dinner, they might get, a tea, and it might have half and half in it. They might get an Honest Kids juice box, but we're not like letting them shovel that stuff in. We have their cool little water bottles made for them, and they drink a liter of water a day. Maybe not the 4-year-old, but she's learning to see her brothers and sisters drink water. We're pushing them to drink water, and it's a way that we use to measure. We're teaching them life skills on how to recognize the symptoms that they have and correlate it back to something that they've done. And what I noticed is my kids are sick very few and far between, and when they do get sick, guess what? We knock it out in 12 to 6 hours. Like, it's really quick. Sometimes it goes longer, but rarely these days it isn't long. It's overnight. Yeah, mom and dad don't get a good night of sleep, but at the end of the day, our kids well in the morning, and we're able to keep on trucking.
So this was a question, and you were bringing this up, maybe not so much juice, water, take in the other fluids. So this is from Maria. She said, what should I be drinking, like alkaline water versus purified or spring water? There's so many different waters out there.
Yeah, it's totally true. And so at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you're at bare minimum getting filtered water. Filtered water. What we want to see is that the water that you're bringing into your body is filtered once, twice, if not tripled. Reverse osmosis. And because the municipal water still has chlorine and contaminants in it, it still has stuff in it that you don't need and want. Now, is it sanitary? Of course it's sanitary. Otherwise, people would be getting sick all over the place. And that's part of the reason why people think that we're, a well-developed nation, is because we have closed air. We don't have open air sewers. We're a closed system. We highly contaminate the water to kill off any pathogens that are there, so that it's reusable and tolerable to the body. But it is causing a significant issue in our body. So what we want to encourage people to do is filter the water, or unfortunately you become the filter. And the body loves storing toxins in the fat cells in the brain and in the joints, and it causes things like brain fog or joint arthritides. What I like to call, people call it arthritis, I call it arthrongus, because I don't think there's anything rightus about it. And so there's just so much going on in the form of water. Now, if you're into alkaline water, I found that alkaline water is not an everyday, all the time, forever and ever. You don't want to raise the stomach pH to a high level. It's designed to be at like 2.2. It comes out at like less, just under 1. once it's pumped out of those chief cells, and then once it mixes and matches inside the stomach lining, it's like a 2.2 to 2.4.
So what is alkaline water doing?
So if you're so like let's say that right now you notice that there's no food around me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just have my water bottle, and so this would be a good time to consume a little bit of alkaline water. Because I'm not planning on eating in the next 30 minutes. So it's okay if I raise my stomach acid levels up a little bit, and it can be anti-inflammatory because we live in a very acidic culture. So the theory and the conversation piece around acidity is acidity leads to inflammation. So you just replace low pH or an acidic pH equaling inflammation equaling immunological decline equaling mineral depletion causing dis-ease leading to disease. You want me to do that again? No.
Yes.
Please. You're going to have to put the replay back on. And so this would be a good time to do alkaline water because I'm not going to be eating in 30 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
Now, do you need alkaline water to be healthy? No, you don't need alkaline water to be healthy. So, you don't need to spend $4,000 on a machine that makes your alkaline water. I'm not convinced that I've seen that it makes all that much of a difference. Although I will tell you with absolute certainty, if you are consuming municipal water still as your main source of fluid intake, then you're still missing the boat and you're more prone to being depleted and weak and get some of these excess toxins and contaminants that people go, well, where did the aluminum come from? Where did the chlorine come from? Where did this come from? And it easily could have come from even things like the water.
So, I'm thinking about my refrigerator. There's a filter on that. If I stick my cup up to the dispenser, I can get ice.
Yep.
And I can get water.
And
is
again,
that enough filtration?
It is better, than just straight out of the tap, but it's still, in my opinion, still inferior to the possibility. So we use a Berkey system or a reverse osmosis system typically, or we've looked for a triple filtered system where people can leverage different aspects of clean water.
This is a great time to shout out our friends and partners, Santa Fe Water Services, that install filtration on complete houses, like everything.
Yeah, maybe they'll give me a discount.
And
maybe they can sponsor our show. That'd be awesome too. So,
good folks.
And so this is the game, right? Is water is an important piece of your immune health system. Like if you don't have good, healthy water, it's hard to be healthy because water is bathing your tissues. It is washing the system out and it's cleaning the system. And I've seen videos that try to debunk that and all that stuff. And I know probably it doesn't work exactly like a power washer on a curb or a sidewalk or a driveway. But at the end of the day, without water, when we were born, we're 70% to 75% water. As we age, men in their adult years are between 60 and 63% water, and women are between 57 and 60% water.
Okay, so here's another question, and this is from Holly. We've been talking about water, we've been talking about juice, and so she's dealing with something right now. She wants to know what can someone take for a UTI if they're allergic to berries. I think a lot of times it's like, hey, cranberry juice and some cranberry pills and all kinds of different things you can take. What can somebody do to help out that situation?
Well, so one of my first, in this case, knowing that people do have challenges and issues, we would start with something as simple. I use a product called Arginex in my office, and another one called Buco and Solidago. And what these are, one's a liquid and one is a pill, and basically they are going to create a kidney-style flush, if you will. So in a sense, I'm going to create water, a heavy amount of water to plow through there and to dilute the burden that she's carrying. In this case, it could be infection. It could be a contaminant that was the source of the infection that's stuck, and it's just in there percolating and fermenting and creating and wreaking havoc on her body. And so we would come in with something like Congaplex. So like, again, I'm on the radio, right? I don't know her story. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. And then I go, okay, this is what I'm going to do. When in doubt, and I can comfortably say this, when in doubt, Congaplex it out. Isn't that cool? Just made that up. So when in doubt, Congaplex it out. You can get 5 Congaplex, take it 3 to 4 times a day, along with Arginex, 3 times a day. These are from a company called Standard Process. You can get it at our office in League City, Texas. Give us a call, 281-554-8600, and we build a plan to start mobilizing your body's ability to get rid of the congestion at a high level, strengthen that immune system, and to flush the kidneys of any contaminants that are stuck in there, along with, guess what, your water intake. Make sure that you're flushing your body with plenty of water, and then you're not worried about the berry issue in this case in time. Now, if you are allergic to berries, my next question would be, are we talking like anaphylactic, like your throat closes up, and is that going to be also blackberries, schnozberries, and all the other kind of berries? Or are we just talking like you've just had a reaction and you're pretty certain that cranberries are the source of it? Because when you have a obscure allergy like a berry allergy, typically berries are not even in the top 50 most common allergies. We know that there is an inflammatory burden elsewhere, and that is going to be in what we call the top 4 most common food allergies. And you probably already know what they are, and I like to talk about it as often as I can: wheat, dairy, corn, and soy.
I knew those.
You knew it.
Yes.
I should let you have it.
I want to know if a schnozberry is a real thing. I feel like that's from Willy Wonka.
It might be. I was just
in?
wondering if anybody's paying attention, and I'm proud of you for catching it. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Yes.
And schnozberry? What the heck is a schnozberry?
I'm allergic to schnozberries.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure, and I put that in the comments like schnozberry, and then I was looking for a Willy Wonka gif. I was like, somebody else had to hear that.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Well, you never know. So, a lot of times it's just like shots off the bow, right? Nobody's actually listening, but they're kind of listening. So I just like to throw things out there and just see if people are catching it.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I feel like I'm the most educated man whenever it comes to the information Dr. Chapa is slinging out every Tuesday right here starting 8:30 to 10 o'clock on KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. You can go download the KHEA Radio app today, and then you can listen from anywhere in the world. I love Facebook, so we stream here every weekday starting at 9 o'clock, except on Tuesday with Dr. Chapa. So I had a friend who's in Hawaii with some family, and he's like, hey, it's 5 a.m. here. I'm tuning in. I love that we can spread this all over the world right here on Facebook. It's such a tool. And whenever we take social media back and use it for something positive instead of negative, I feel like that is the way it's supposed to be used.
And there's no doubt. And I think that is how it's supposed to be used. It's a way that we can get information out live and quick. And it's unfortunate that it's somewhat skewed and manipulated and sourced to serve self. But at the end of the day, welcome to the world. So it's just the game that we're all playing. But there are people that truly want to spread positivity, and that's KHE Radio, and that's why I love being on the show with you guys. And it's always been a blessing, and I love the things that Pastor Hallam brings to this church. And I don't even go to this church. I feel like I'm pretty blessed by it.
Well, hopefully come tonight.
It's Jesse. So there's a high probability that I will be in the house to listen to Jesse, run games. So,
Yes.
I did think that this might be a good time to throw, since somebody commented on my after the party poem, maybe we could do one more. What do you think?
Okay, let's go.
This one is not near as long. This one's short.
Okay.
So, celery is the name of the...
That's the name of the poem?
The poem.
Okay. I like
it. This one's Ogden Nash. Ogden Nash. Celery raw develops the jaw. Celery stewed is more quietly chewed.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it.
I think that's where the celery guy got his stardom in celery juice mania. So he decided to take it a step further and just to suck it up through a soda straw.
What's up with that? I've seen a lot of people that have claimed to heal their bodies, I don't know if it's considered like autoimmune disorders, but heal things that are going on with celery juice.
That's
have
right.
you seen or experienced that?
So, okay, it's not so much celery juice as it is juice. Now, what celery juice provides to the body in a juiced form is that it's very cleansing to, guess who, Miss Holly? Your kidneys. And so that could be an option to help flush those kidneys and give you something other than just water to drink and the minerals and the phytonutrients and the phytochemicals necessary for detoxification of the kidney system, the urinary system, the bladder system. And so can it help with all other facets? A lot of these people that go on celery cleanses, what they're doing is they are decongesting their body, and they're letting the celery cleanse their tissues, and they're absorbing some good nutrients in the process. But it's that cleansing. If you're not detoxing,
I'm sorry.
in the 21st century,
catering friend went by, and I was like,
"It's all good. It's all good."
Apologize.
If you're not detoxing in the 21st century, then you're missing a huge piece of your healthcare plan. So this is a good time for me to talk about our 21-day detox program coming up in January. And we encourage everybody to go ahead and start signing up, getting ready, ask the questions, because we are going to be detox fanatics come January 1. And we've got some already dates lined out coming that we can put up on our site or put up in the post and share with people coming up. So we want people to know that if you've never detoxed before, or if you want to make it a yearly thing and you need that motivation, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center builds online protocols. We have email support programs. We're working on some videos right now in order to create a more user-friendly interface in your journey through the detoxing world, because we know that you don't know what we know. I mean, it's not your fault. People don't know what they don't know. I didn't know this stuff. If I hadn't done 40 of them, I wouldn't know what I know. I'm a fanatic. I think detoxification is one of the methods for which is going to allow me to live long all the days of my life, fully functional in spirit, mind, and body. And I want to go the distance. Now, obviously, I could walk outside and it could all end for me today. But that's up to God, man. Like, I'm not going to plan on dying today. I'm going to live fully functional in spirit, mind, and body. I'm going to do it with the best possible attitude I can have, as consistently as I can have it. And I'm going to do my best to serve my community, God's people, as best as I can in the ministry He's called me to.
So the 21-day detox, you're going to be starting another one in January. If somebody goes on that, how can they expect to feel? What's going to happen to their body, and what can somebody expect? I've had the opportunity to do it 2 times, but I want to hear it from you, and then maybe I'll share a little bit about my experience as well.
Yeah, so number one, most people feel an overall sense of like clean or different, like their mind is clear. They feel like a very calm, cool energy, like they got tons of it, but they don't feel jittery. They feel like just alive and ready. They feel focused and alive. They can tackle tasks that they didn't used to be able to tackle. They feel that their joints stop hurting. They notice that their bowel habits change, like where they were constipated before, now they have normal fawn-colored fluffy floaters about 1 foot long. Yep, I just said it. And
you did.
And then 2, they notice that they sleep deeper. They notice that they're more positive. They notice that their skin changes. They notice that allergens that used to affect them don't affect them any longer. They feel like their body cleaned something out that was stuck in them. They're like, I knew there was a serpent inside me. I just didn't know how to get it out. And basically the ultimate detox experience is what Living Well offers to help you support every tissue, cell, organ, gland in the body, but primarily the detoxification organs like your liver, your kidneys, your bowel, and even the circulatory system.
Is that the name of the game, giving certain parts of your body a break?
That's right. It's a 21-day vacation from stress and stimulants, from biochemical demise. We live in a culture where we're inundating our bodies with the wrong stuff too often. And so if you spend, and you've got too much month left after the end of the money, that's called debt, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want to be a people of debt. We are called to be lenders, not borrowers. And so one of the things that we have to look at, nutritional debt is a real issue. And so if we're putting in a lot of chemicals, preservatives, fake food, make-believe food, the best we'll ever have is
make-believe health.
Make-believe health.
Yeah.
And so we've got to help people stop putting that make-believe health food in, so that their health can start lifting and elevating up to a level of radiancy and vibrancy that we should be living. Like, we get this, too many doctors, too many. And if you're one listening, and you're offended by what I'm about to say, I'm sorry, but it's true, is we blame getting older on, or symptoms on getting older. And give me a break, man. If 50 is old, what do I have to look forward to? That's 10 years from now. You know what I mean? And the average centenarian that was studied, 65 to 95 was their prime years. Their years in which they felt the most productive they've ever felt. And so I want that as an attitude. But I don't want it to be just 95, because I plan on going to 125, so I've got to be, fully alive at 125.
That's a long time, Dr. Chapa. 125 years old.
I wonder what my skin will look like. The thing that's what I'm curious to see. It might be scary.
Yeah.
But who knows?
How old are you now?
I am plenty enough.
Okay, 22. 23 years old, right?
I just turned 40 as of October 25th.
Okay.
And so, and that was a big deal for me. Like, I don't know, even doing this, I don't know that I ever really was looking forward to being like 40. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But here I am, brother. So it's just going to be a great decade. I can't wait.
Shooting for 125 years old. Okay, right now it's 9:52 a.m. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM, hanging out with Dr. Aaron Chapa with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. If you're watching on Facebook, I just put his information on the screen so you can find his website, his location. Dr. Chapa, where are you located again?
We're in League City, Texas, and that is right in historical League City, 815 East Main Street, and our phone number is 281-554-8600. And the cool thing about what we do at our office is no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through, what you've been told, we have a different answer for you. We believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to get traction and move forward or to fall apart and decline too rapidly. We call that accelerated aging. Nobody wants to be there, so we want to help you differently. We want to give you better solutions and better insight to why your body's breaking down so that you can make better choices and live a different tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's the goal of your practice.
Absolutely.
As a person.
I'm selling an intangible.
Right.
You know, I'm selling a better you tomorrow. And it's hard sometimes to see that or to appreciate that. And oftentimes people feel like, you know, it should be immediate. Like they did 25 years of bad living, and then they want me to fix it in, 18 days. And we do see silver bullets like that. The body does want to respond very quickly. But sometimes these bodies are really broken, and it just takes time to unravel the yarn, if you will, of trash that they've accumulated over the years. And that's ultimately what's happening is the body accumulates toxins, and the toxins can't get out of the body, so that creates a level of stress on the system and therefore robs the body of nutrition, creating malnutrition, causing the body to go back into a state of dis-ease, aka disease. And so we've got to eliminate stagnation from the body. We talked a little bit about some things, water. We talked about congoplex, and we talked about INF fighter. Unfortunately, we didn't get to talk about fevers and flu exactly. But, guys, there's just so much to share. And philosophically, there's a lot to share in abundance of what to do. If you don't believe that you can get well, I can't help you. Nobody can. That's why Jesus walked past so many people whenever he was walking on this earth, healing the sick. So many got well, but so many didn't. And the reason some did and some didn't was according to their faith. And I want you to have the faith that Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He still heals every day in my practice. I see it. He's walking around in churches, touching people's body. I saw it a couple weeks ago here. And, amazing to still be in a place where you can believe that the Lord reigns and His word is real and it's alive and it's active and it's sharper than any double-edged sword, and it pierces all the way through down to the cartilage and the marrow and through to the soul and the spirit. And so first and foremost, the first and best vitamin I can give anybody on this show is Jesus. And I hope that if you're not a Christian and you're curious about what that means, is that you would get plugged in to a good local church that teaches a Bible, and teaches the sound doctrine so that you can understand why I get excited and who powers Dr. Chapa is not Aaron Chapa. I am nothing. I'm just conduit for Him and His glory, Jesus Christ. And I just pray that people hear that message ultimately, and they know that I use tools from the planet that God created to help people in their ailments.
The final closing thought. It's November. That means like Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you?
Yeah, man. So Thanksgiving is one of my favorite times. We're going to get a Greenberg turkey.
What is that?
So you can go to, I think it's like gobblegobble.com or something like that. And I'll find it and put it on the thing. But I'm going
to write that down. Gobblegobble.com.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and somebody correct me that's ever heard of a Greenberg turkey. And I learned about it many, many, many years ago from my mother-in-law, who learned about it from Oprah Winfrey or whatever. And
she you get a turkey, you get a Greenberg turkey, you get a Greenberg turkey.
And these turkeys are the bomb. So it's my favorite turkey. So that's what we're gonna get for sure. And then I will make a sweet potato mash that's Dr. Chopper friendly. For myself, my mom makes a really nice stuffing that's actually grain free. It's like a gluten free type thing.
Yeah.
And so I will I still stay pretty close to the Dr. Chopper ways. And then my mom also makes a gluten free apple crisp pie. So that's my cheat. And possibly maybe if I'm feeling spunky, I might even hit up a pumpkin pie, which is by far my favorite.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask.
And it
dessert.
will. And so here's the thing that I would see. This is the things that I would be saying to people that are going to be overindulging, because we know that everybody does. And so one, I try not to. So
why are you looking at me when you say that? I'm just kidding.
You're just right in front of me.
Look away when you say.
so all this whole show, I haven't looked at you once. So so enzymes. You've got to have digestive enzymes. So we use a product called Enzacor, Orthozyme, and Zypan. And these are great tools to help you just break down the food. So this will be on the table. When the sweets come out, we'll be taking something called Cataplex B and Cataplex GTF and or Gymnema. But primarily in my house, it's the Cataplex B. B vitamins are essential in helping the body break down sugar. And so it doesn't give you a green light to consume or overconsume sugar, but it gives you the tools to help you break it down more effectively. And then the last thing that I would say, because there will be wrong food eating consumption happening. I mean, this is not about not indulging, right? This is Thanksgiving. This is grandma's best coming out.
Time to shine. Everybody's bringing their best dish. And everybody.
And no question. So if you are going to, indulge in things that normally you wouldn't, or things that you probably shouldn't, I use AF Beta Food, which is a liver bile product. I use the Complex, and I use Cataplex AC straight up, because it helps to seal and heal the gut lining, strengthen my immune system, and clear trash through my liver so that I can break down the food that I'm overeating. And so this is just, again, there's you a nugget of, a triad of support whenever you're eating and overindulging in things that you shouldn't be, or and don't feel guilty about it. I mean, nobody's perfect, and I don't think that we need to teach perfection. We need to teach how to cheat, if you will, whenever the time is appropriate.
And then have that health bank. I love whenever you talk about it that way.
Yeah.
It's a bank.
It is a bank. And when you tap the bank, you go bankrupt and you get disease, and nobody wants that. But yet, guess what? Even if that's where you're at, just like Dave Ramsey helps people get out of debt, I can help you get out of nutritional debt. And I can help your body restore itself back to the way God created it to function. And I really believe that truly all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is, and always has been, the fundamental backbone that allows your body to spiral out of control or to get traction and move forward. And I know our show is coming to a close today, and so we welcome people to visit our website and start, like you said earlier, Gardy, to do some of our quizzes, do some of our research, and read around on our page and ask questions and start formulating a new philosophy. Let today be the day. Today's the day to get well. If you knew that walking around the block every day for your good health was a good idea, and 30 years from now you realize you didn't do it, you're only one to blame, I hate to say. And so let today be the day that you're more active. Let today be the day that you drink more water. Let today be the day that you start on a good Living Well clinical nutrition program. Let today be the day that you choose wisely what you eat, how much of it you eat, and how you support your body going through your day. Because every day is going to have its own challenges and its own obstacles. But guess what? God has overcome them all. And we've got tools and resources to help you live better, be better, and stay better, one bite at a time. So justlivewell.com or 281-554-8600. God bless all of you guys, and we'll see you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Chapa, for hanging out. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on Facebook. Next, I'm going to have Pastor Catherine Rudolph and Daniil Hage in studio talking about personalities, relationships, compatibility. I'm a little bit concerned whenever it comes to these tests, and I'm going to share why here in a bit. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Thank you, Dr. Chapa. Come on in. How's it going?
Personalities are exciting.
All of mine are great.
He's been waiting all morning to say that. All morning. I'm just convinced that he...
No, actually, it just came to me. I was like, oh, that's funny.
That's right.
And that's sometimes the issue. You feel like you're talking to one person, and then you're still talking to the same person. 10 minutes later, it's like, what happened?
Well, yeah. I can't wait to hear it. Also, because I'm a big Florence Littire fan, which teaches Personality Plus.
Oh, yeah.
And you've done disc profiles probably, and I just think it's fascinating how accurate all this stuff is, and a lot of this information is like not new.
Right.
But when you know yourself, you can interact with the world better. And then when you understand personalities, you understand that people are different. And guess what? You can interact.
Change them.
That's right.
You can change them.
You can tease them.
Yeah, Gardy wants to change them now. I mean, I'm just kidding.
I'm down for change. I like change. So if you're watching on Facebook again, feel free to smash the share button. We're about to go on the FM. I have Pastor Catherine Rudolph and Miss Danielle Hage, Pastor Danielle Hage as well. Y'all can come and have a seat whenever y'all are ready. And I'm going to share this from the church's page because why not? We're going to be talking about some good stuff wherever y'all are comfortable. And then I'll get your camera shot switched around and we're going to have a lot of fun. Let me see if I can get y'all in this one. Oh, I did it. So how's it going? Y'all doing good?
Great.
Good.
Great. It's a
Good.
good day. So far, so good.
So far, so good. It is Tuesday. We've been hanging out at Abundant Life. There is the Unshakable Conference currently going on. If you've had the opportunity to attend it, then you know all the fun that we've been having. And Jesse Duplantis is going to be here tonight. Can you talk about that for a bit while I share that from the church page?
Yeah, about Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been here I think he's been at every conference that we've done. He's been here and pretty much on Tuesday nights. I remember one year he was this is so random that I remember this. He was in Africa. And I'm almost positive he was in Africa and he couldn't be here on a Tuesday, so he came on a Monday night.
That's it, like the one time.
The one time. But every other year, it's been on Tuesday night. And I mean, Jesse's funny. He's lighthearted. But then he hits you with something that's really poignant while you're laughing. And it's like, oh, man, that's me. Yeah. But I'm laughing about it, so it's okay if it hurts a little bit.
It's fun to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And your idiosyncrasies. I mean, yeah.
Could you, here, we can scoot this up a little bit, and you can put that as close as possible.
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and switch it on the FM, and I'll get this going. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now, it is 10:03 on a Tuesday morning. I'm Gardy. I have a couple guests hanging out in studio. I got Miss Danielle Hage. I got Pastor Catherine Rudolph hanging out. Good morning, ladies. How are y'all doing?
Good morning.
Doing
Great.
good.
I'm glad y'all are here because there's a lot going on, and I feel like y'all are to blame.
Oh,
There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just joking with the blame. But can you share, Danielle, what's about to take place this morning, 11 o'clock? There's a really cool event happening. What's going on?
Yes. Well, it is basically a tool for personal and corporate relationships. It's just a tool. We're going to do a survey. We're going to do a personality profile, which many people have done, lots of different ones out there. But the thing that sets what I'm going to do apart from all the other ones, no disrespect to the Myers-Briggs or DISC or Enneagram or any of the other personality profiles out there, but mine is simple. Mine is simple and it's easy to remember, and that's what makes it different. It's short. The survey's quick. You get 7 minutes to take it because I don't like people to overthink it or overanalyze it.
I don't even know if it took me 7 minutes.
It
to
may
be
not
honest.
have.
Yeah.
And
But
you
you're
probably
an
know yourself.
overachiever. You were
you
like
know yourself.
I mean, what
yeah.
can I say?
Valedictorian and just like
Yeah.
I'm just saying it could be faster.
Right.
Like,
And
if
she
you're-
came out blue-red, which that
Okay.
is makes perfect sense for
It's perfect.
Kat.
I'm practically
Yeah.
perfect in every way. I'm Mary Poppins.
And that's what blues think.
That's
They
fun.
don't ever make mistakes or do anything wrong.
Yeah. I'm the kind of person in school, I was looking around when I was taking tests, and you see the first person turn it in, or you're the first person. Either way, it's where did I make a mistake? Right? Just looking around,
Double checking your answers.
Man, they're already done, or how am I
Yeah.
already done and they're not? So, what kind of personality? How many are there?
Okay, so they start with 4. Basically, all the personality profiles start with 4 basic personalities. Now, I do it in colors. I do it in red, yellow, blue, and green because I think it's easy to remember. Like when you think of yellow, what do you think of?
I think of the sun.
Okay, sun, cheery, bright. When you think of red, what do you think of?
I think of, let's say, the first thing that came to mind was the devil.
Okay.
Okay.
Fiery, hot-tempered, maybe red, intense.
Okay.
Okay. And when you think of green?
I love green. That's my favorite color.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's my favorite color, too.
Yeah.
And green's kind of a serene color, a pretty, serene, peaceful color.
Check out these. Well, this is a plug for
look
me.
at that.
I
Like
love
these
that.
these
The
green
Del
Del
Tigre?
Tigre samples
Green's
that I
my
just
favorite
got
color,
in.
too.
Those are
Yeah.
nice.
Those are awesome.
Thanks. That's all.
Love them.
Very cool.
What do you think of when you think of blue?
When I think of blue, I think of water, the clouds.
Yeah, more mellow,
Sure.
kind of calming. Yeah, so it's easy to remember personality types when you find out what your color is because you know what that color represents, basically. So that's why I teach it in colors. But now everybody's got their core personality. So what you come out on your survey, where you score highest, would be your core, and then people have a backup. They're secondary. So you'll be, say you score highest in yellow, you'll be either yellow red or yellow green. And then if you and I don't think, and this is just according to my experience, I could be wrong. A lot of people don't agree with me, but because like there's opposites, blues and yellows are completely opposite. Rarely do I see anybody score blue and yellow, or red and green, because those are opposites. So if you do score with your opposite as your backup, it's because you probably have learned traits.
Okay.
You've just picked up some learned behavior along the way.
Do opposites attract? You always hear that.
Yes, they do.
Is it ever the case whenever people that are the same kind of just work well together?
Well, we always look for people to see how we can relate to them. So we immediately connect with people who are a lot like us. You know how you run into people or work with people? Some people just irritate you. Some annoy you.
Sure,
some intimidate you. I think a lot of that can be explained by personality types. And then there's some people you just have that immediate connection. I think that's when you meet someone who thinks a lot the way you think. But what happens, especially in dating relationships, is opposites attract, then they get married, and then they spend the rest of their lives trying to change each other into them.
Wow.
So what I teach, especially with couples, is that we have to learn to accept one another and not try to change one another. And when you understand personalities, you go, oh, okay, so that's not personal toward me. That's just who they are. That's who God made them to be. I can get that. I can get behind that. So I think it helps a lot relationally with anybody.
It doesn't seem like it's healthy to try and change somebody.
You can't change anybody. You can't. That's a misnomer. You only have power to change you. Like you can, call them names, beat them with stick. You really can't change people. I mean, God can change people, but we can't.
That's about it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, you're married. How long have you been married?
15 years.
Did you have to change or attempt to change Josh, or did he try and change himself? How did that work?
I have attempted to change.
Women always want to change men.
But it hasn't worked. And so I've accepted the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love things neat and clean, and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He couldn't care less.
Right.
And so I just have to keep my side of the room clean.
Yeah.
We're like kids that share a room.
Yeah.
This is my side and
Exactly. Yeah.
and
Man.
this side.
And if it's something that's really important to you, you don't want to nag them all the time and cause them to distance. You just go, you know what? I'll do it. Because it's important to me, it's not important to them. So you know what? I'll just do it. It's not him trying
That's
to make
true.
me mad by not doing it.
Right.
I'll pick up the socks. He doesn't see them.
I
So
will
I'll pick
say
'em up.
too that when I pick those things up or put clothes on a hanger, then he'll say that I have quote unquote hidden his things.
Oh.
I'm like, I hid them in the closet
Where they're supposed to be.
on the rack on a hanger,
Right.
So we get a good laugh out of
Yeah.
it now. But
Yeah.
Yeah. You
You
know,
see, that's great that you can look at your differences and laugh about them and tease about them. And that makes a relationship fun.
Right.
Rather than, you're wrong and I'm right.
Yeah, exactly.
that's what-
How is it with you and Jen?
so yesterday, and not just yesterday, for the past week or so, Jennifer has been wanting. That's my wife. If you're watching on Facebook, Jennifer is my wife. She's watching on social media. I know right now.
Yeah, so we're ready
I'm
for the
very careful what I
commentary.
have to say. So there's a closet underneath our stairs. We have stairs in our house, and it's called a seasonal closet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if my son made that up or my wife did, but all of the stuff like Thanksgiving, Christmas, things just go in there. It's a really cool little space.
Yeah.
But I have stuff that I moved with the past 3 or 4 places that I've lived. Like I have old stuff that I probably will never use again.
Right.
And she's been wanting me to go through it. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not prepared. At this point in my life, I can't do this. I cannot
It
do that right
travels
now.
with you.
I cannot. I was like, I felt like I needed to keep this for some reason at some point. It's stuff there's tools in there from when I worked at AT&T.
Right.
There's laptops, my laptop when I moved to Nashville. All my music is on there. And I pulled it off, and I'm just like, I can't sit down, for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to break this thing out and load I was like, just throw it away. I said, if I haven't needed it in this point,
Right.
just throw it all away. I said, just keep the tools. Those are the only things that have a lot of value,
That's a
I
bold
suppose.
move to
Yeah.
say just throw it away.
I know.
That's-
But you can't make those decisions. And it's driving you crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I can't sit down and do this right now. I said, just throw it away. And
Yeah.
so there was an old pair of glasses, and I'm like, I don't know. My daughter put them on, that hurt your eyes. I don't know. I was like, I don't need any of this stuff. I don't need it.
Yeah.
And it's probably better to just throw it away
Right,
than to go
right.
through it one item at a time. And she was going I had CDs in there, my first CDs ever I got in like the 5th grade, and I was
Yeah.
like, I will probably never use these again, and I could maybe keep them. And she was like, just throw them away. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't take it anymore. Just throw them away.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
the
need it.
pressure.
Yeah,
Knowing
just-
it's hanging over your head,
just
you got to
do
make a
it. Throw it
decision
away.
about it. That's good.
So
That's
I
good.
guess, and I'm that way. Like I have shirts from like the 5th grade, just because.
Oh my gosh.
What if I want a T-shirt quilt? I do want a T-shirt quilt, but it's hard. It's expensive. Do you either one of y'all sew?
I used to.
Okay, I'm
used
gonna
to.
send. I have a bunch of shirts. I'm gonna send, and you can take them and just work in your spare time if you don't mind.
Because they need to be mended.
And no, they need to be made into a quilt.
Oh,
keep
no, I
things-
don't do that. I don't quilt. You need a quilter.
I do have like T-shirts from like sports and things
Yeah.
like that, jerseys.
Yeah.
And I'm
Memorabilia.
yeah, and I'm keeping the
Mine are.
children's stuff.
Yeah.
So because I do want them to have like a blanket or a quilt
Yeah.
made. But you're right, it's a lot to
sweet.
like tuck away and put in the
Yeah.
keep together, put it in the attic, know where it is for when that moment comes. But
Right. If
I'll
that
do it
moment
someday.
ever comes.
I won't do it. I will hire somebody to do it.
Steve, he doesn't. He like collects shoes, tennis shoes. Well, lots of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have any space. You know, it's like, Steve, okay, it's great you got a new pair of shoes, but you got to get rid of some because there is no room. So I have actually bagged up especially his sports shoes, bagged up like 6 or 10 pairs that I haven't seen him wear forever. I don't get rid of them because I don't want disrespect, but I'll put them in the garage and I'll just wait till he notices. He never notices. And then after about 6 months, I give him to like a housekeeper or to the Goodwill.
Yeah.
And he has never asked. He doesn't even know I got rid of them. But if I say, can I get rid of these? He'll go, no. But if I just do it without him
kinda
knowing,
tuck it away.
and then if he wants it, it's there.
there.
I'll run and get that for you. So I wait a really long time and then I'll get rid of it.
You're a shoe hound like that.
Yeah.
I would know. I feel like I would notice, and I would be like, something's different. I mean, even
Where
yes,
is that box of shoes?
even yeah. Well, I got whenever we moved 3 years ago into the house that I'm in right now. I threw away a lot of shoes, and there were shoes that I've had for I have shoes that are older than my kids. I have shoes older than Darian. I was talking about him. I said I have instruments. Darian's 21 years old.
Pastor, right?
I said I have instruments I bought brand new that are older than
him.
you, and it's
Wow.
almost that way with shoes. I have like shoes that I played in high school. Like, what if this needs to go in the museum at the gym one day? I gotta.
famous shoes.
I love it.
You never know.
Keep them.
Yeah.
Keep them.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, pack rat. You're a pack
In a
rat.
case, in a shadow box. It could be back there. There's all kinds of uses, and I don't want to take that away from the kids.
True.
Things
It's
we
all
don't
about
want
the
to
kids.
aspire
your
to.
All about the kids.
That's what it is. Yeah.
All right. Man, so 11 o'clock, the event is taking place today right outside of KHEA Radio. I'm going to leave the lights on so people have to look in here.
Nice.
And I'm going to even do my tally light so it'll look like we're on air, even though no one's going to be in here. So how's it going to start? How long is this process, and what kind of food is served? I saw my good friend from Galveston running around, and I was like, did I double book?
Riondo's.
Yeah. I was like, oh, man.
I don't know what.
No, they're
food is-
doing a penne pasta, like a pesto pasta.
Okay.
Have the option of adding chicken to it and salad. It's going to be really good. It's a great spot. Go try it out if you haven't.
Very nice restaurant. And then once the fun gets started, the real fun, the personalities, how long? You said that test is about 7 minutes?
Yeah, the survey's quick, and then I'm going to put people in their groups, and then I will start to describe the different characteristics of each personality group and explain how it all works. But can I tell you real quick about something I'm super excited about? And if people are listening and they want to participate, this is something they could do right there from home. I have a brand new app that is in the App Store called Dynamic Traits in Living Color. And you can actually download it, take the survey, which is very short, and get your scores, find out what your colors are, and take a screenshot of it because it doesn't save it. And then you can go into the descriptions of each personality type. And there's actually a short video, 20-minute video of me breaking it down and
Cool.
telling you about the personalities. And then we can interact with them about it because
All right.
everybody will have it at their fingertips and they can just share it with their friends, and then they get an immediate, oh, I'm a red. And especially if you've been through the training, through the class, then it's a great conversation starter. We just did a training in Orange County, and two young guys, they're like in their 30s, and they're on dating websites and stuff. And I had breakfast with them after, and I said, so what did you think of that? And they said, this was so awesome. It pegged me perfectly. It pegged who I was. I'm even having the girls I date take the survey. He goes, and I said, it's a great conversation starter, right? You find out who
The
they are
first date,
immediately. Like,
take a
hi, can you
personality
take this?
test.
I want to know who you are first.
You know,
But it makes it fun to be able to talk just
Yeah.
below the surface with somebody you just meet.
the first thing that came to mind, they probably have to be either pretty rich or like somewhat good looking or handsome or put together at least, because if somebody that's not is like, you need to take this before you give me a chance. They're going to be
before
like,
I really meet you.
no. Like, okay, yeah, I'll take a test for you. It's a little bit different. So you're from California originally?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Born and raised.
California.
Yep.
So California, there was even a joke last night. I was like, oh, from the country of California, Pastor Stephen Daniil Hage. It's kind of like its own spot, and there's a lot of amazing stuff that goes on, in California. Can you share like a bit? What do you do? Where do you travel? You have a church, I believe,
Yes.
right?
Yep. We have a small church in Laguna Niguel.
What's that close to?
It is close to Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, Dana Point. Those are the surrounding Costa Mesa. Those are the surrounding areas. And California is great.
Yeah.
I love
It
California.
is. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's a
agree.
great tourist spot for sure because we're on the coast. We're right in the middle of LA, south of LA, and north of San Diego, two very big hot spots. And if you like outdoor weather, we're 2 hours from the mountains, and then we're right on the beach. So we kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a snow skier, and I am a sun worshiper. I grew up on the beach, love the ocean, love the water, love the sand, love the smell of it, the whole bit. But I love the mountains. I'm a skier too. So I feel like although we travel quite a bit, we've been to a lot of places, but both Steve and I say we'd never leave California.
Yeah.
We love California. Yeah.
Did you grow up in the church?
I did not. I was raised Catholic and then kind of barely. And I basically grew up, I did not get saved. I knew nothing about ministry or church life until I was 18. And I got saved. And it's like I knew all about Jesus because I was Catholic. I did the whole communion and,
Yeah.
confirmation.
Sure.
But it's like I knew him, but I didn't know him personally. Kind of like we all know who Oprah is, but we don't know her personally. That's how it was for Jesus.
I'm still trying to get Tim Story to introduce me. But yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Why?
Because
Because
he knows Oprah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I look on
okay.
social. I look on
Yes.
social media,
Okay.
and he's like getting interviewed by Oprah, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I just saw you yesterday. Like, where do you?
That's right.
Come on, just anyway.
That's right.
So
So ministry was brand new to me. I mean, all brand new. I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I married Steve. And I got saved at 18, then literally introduced to Steve within that same week because I had all these questions, my sister and I, and a friend of hers brought him over and said, he can answer all your questions because he was fully sold out for God. And he told me probably 3 times after I was around him, he took my hand and he said, hey, I just want you to know you're a really likable person, but I don't want anything to do with you because you're a distraction and I have to stay focused because I am going to be a pastor one day and I don't need any girls in my life. And I was like,
you can be a priest.
he needed to stay focused up to that
Okay.
point. I guess what his pastor was telling him.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not even interested in you. Like, what? Like, he's
Oh,
telling me
that's
he
funny.
doesn't want to be, doesn't like me. Well, we were married 18 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how old was he at that time?
21,
21 years old, and you were 18.
18. So we started really young. I got married 19. He was 22.
Going back, like, is it good to get married? That young, 21, or looking. I mean, obviously things worked out great.
I mean, by the grace of God, yeah. I mean, wouldn't recommend getting married that early. Your brain isn't even fully developed till you're 24. I wouldn't recommend it. But in our culture, in the Christian culture, because we all want to keep our ways pure, it was kind of like Steve was saying, we either got to get married or break up because I'm going to be in the ministry and I can't not just be dating you, And so we, I wasn't ready to get married. I didn't want to be married that young, but he was very persistent. He was very persistent.
see that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I even moved away. I moved an hour away to get away from him because I thought I'm too young. But I felt like I was falling in love with him. But I just thought this is happening way too fast and way too soon. But then, you move away and then distance makes the heart grow fonder. So
Yeah.
he would come visit me. I would meet him halfway because then I lived far away where I didn't know anybody. So that wasn't the right move. And then I moved back and literally we got married like 18 months from getting to know each other, from meeting. And everybody thought we were crazy. Our parents were like, what? You're way too young. And we just said, well, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So 40 years later, I mean, it seemed to work.
Are you allowed to share like what your results are for the personality, and then maybe even Steve's, and then I can
yeah,
kind of
sure.
see how that works together?
Yeah. So I'm a yellow-green, but people think I'm red because I have learned red traits because I've been married to a red for almost 40 years, and I understand all the personalities. All of us have all 4 in us. We kind of pull up, there's one that's really developed and that we walk in, and then we have our backup, and the other 2 are there somewhere. But I am first yellow, then green, which green is the peacemaker, yellow is the people person, and all about fun and relationships. And then Steve, we have the common denominator for us is the yellow. He is a red yellow. So he's that go-getter, bold, confrontive, which is the opposite of me. I'm not confrontive. I hate confrontation. I run from confrontation. I cringe when he confronts somebody or something if I'm in the room. But we have a lot of stuff in common, which is why we've probably been able to stay married all this time. Because yellows are really into adventure. They get bored quick. They'd rather eat glass than go through boredom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Steve's been a blast to be married to. He's a lot of fun, and he is an adventure. Yeah. Never been a dull moment with that man.
Catherine, do you remember your colors?
But it was blue, red. Yeah.
Blue,
yeah,
red.
I took my, I have the picture of my survey that I did. I took it this morning.
Does it happen? Blue red? Mm-hmm. Does it happen often that people think they're one color and then they find out they're the other?
Absolutely. Usually when I do this, I'll have 1 or 2 people change groups because I put people in their group.
Yeah.
And then I say, okay, so put the survey away. Now just listen to what I say. And then as I start describing the personalities, because a lot of times people will score themselves the way they think they should be,
right,
or the way they wish they were, or what their parents told them or their spouse told them they are, rather than really who they are. And once they start to hear it, they're like, oh my gosh, that is so me. She is reading my mail. And I always tell people there's no shame in changing groups because I like them to be with the people that are most like them, so they feel like they got support. And here, although like all yellows are different, we're all still very individual. There's different shades of color, right? Different shades of red, different shades of green. There's aqua and light green and dark green and militant blue and sky blue. So we're all still very different, but we have a lot in common with the people that fall within our same color category.
So it's good to be completely honest when you're taking
this. And if you get stuck taking the survey, I will, because we only give them 7 minutes. And so if sometimes people will be like, I'm that and I'm that. And I say, go back to when you were a kid. Before all this environment and everything all the variables come in, how were you as a kid? Were you super neat and orderly? Because some kids, you already see them. They're super organized. Yeah. Or they're builders. They love Legos. Like blue children love Legos, building blocks. They like putting things together. I was telling Kat, yellow children, it just play, entertainers. Let's put shows together for the parents. I mean, you can see in your kids what their traits are from a very early age.
She asked me what I thought Jennifer would be from growing up. Like being sisters.
What'd you say?
Yellow.
Yellow?
Oh, yeah.
That you said that was like putting on a show?
Music, yeah, all of that stuff.
It's like my son a little bit.
Yeah.
My daughter.
What do you think you are from what you've heard so far?
I want to be a green just because I like the color.
Yeah. See, I
but
think.
It's like the peacemaker, the more chill.
I think you're yellow and green. Or green and yellow. Now, talking about how you don't like to get rid of stuff, that could be a blue trait too. So we'll see how you come out on the survey.
He's also an athlete. Gardy's a basketball player. He played football. He was all into sports. So.
I don't know.
But you seem easygoing and fun and light, and you're an interviewer. I mean, you can talk to people easily. Those are all yellow traits.
Yeah. See, but I feel like the yellow is something I had to learn because that wasn't me naturally, and so I probably picked that up. I'm the kind of person that if like normal, someone's like, "What's wrong?" and I'm like, "Nothing's wrong," because I'm not happy, I'm not mad, I'm just here and I'm good. Like I'm living life. But I can pick up traits, so I can do what I need to do.
So what's more important to you? Are you more of an introvert or extrovert? What would you say?
I would say I'm an introvert that learned extrovert qualities.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's more important to you, respect or winning?
Respect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You're green blue.
Okay.
That's probably what you are. Yeah. And hearing about your how you keep things and hold on to things, you're probably a green blue.
See, now I don't even need to take the test. I'm good.
She's right.
Yeah. You have to see.
Now I can sit at the table and I can focus on the food.
Yeah. Well, and I tell people how to read body language.
Yeah.
What a yellow personality how they would dress, how they would shake your hand. I'll tell you, what motivates them, what is their biggest challenge, their biggest area of struggle. Each personality has their very own. So once you hear all of that stuff, then you start to go, oh, now, that makes sense. Because, human behavior is complicated.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are one thing, but they pose as something else because they think that's how they have to be or they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
so.
that's whenever applying for a job, they have those questions sometimes. First of all,
Yes.
it's a process, but it's like if you were at a job and you saw someone taking a pen, is this okay? And I've been in that situation where I'm like, what do they want me to say?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wrong. Like
What's
I'm
the
reporting
right
that.
answer?
It's a pen. Oh my gosh, I
Right.
can't believe you took the pen. And then I could see that being the case for this at least.
Well, and blues will answer according to what is the right answer, not how they really feel about it. If this is what's right, then that's what how I'm gonna answer.
I'm guilty of that.
You're going to report the pen.
yeah.
Or-
Right. Well, and I've done this in lots of different businesses, and they'll even use my survey when they're having somebody come in for an interview, and they'll have them take the survey because they want to know what kind of personality they're hiring. I even have one, and I'm not going to name it, but I have one huge organization that says we don't hire greens, and
Wow.
I'm like that's a mistake. Because if all you want is reds, yellows, and blues, you're going to kill each other.
Yeah.
Because greens are the peacemakers, they're the mediators. You need the greens because they're the glue that keep everything together. And he goes, but of course the pastor, I shouldn't have even said pastor. He's a red blue, and I'm like, you need to have some green on your staff to help keep peace.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Whenever you were young, getting married at 18 with Pastor Steve Hage, did you know that this is what you were going to do or were
No.
destined to do? At what point did you realize, hey, this is what I'm doing? It's my gift.
Well, Steve told me before we got married, he said, okay, so I'm going to be a pastor, and that's going to make you a pastor's wife. And I was like, what is that? What do they do? I don't know.
Right.
What's her role? I don't know. I was raised Catholic. Priests didn't have wives. So I'm like, and what does that make me? And I was in college, but I was undeclared. Yellows are never declared majors because we never know because we like variety, and it takes us a long time to figure it out. And so I got swept up in his life, and which I will talk about that in the meeting. And I never felt like I fit. I'm like, I so don't fit the role of a pastor's wife. That would be a blue thing or a green thing, not me. And I'm just way too wild for that. And people have always said, you are not the stereotypical pastor's wife. I'm like, I know. But I felt like that was an issue. And I thought, I don't want to not be able to compliment him. So I just hung back because, number one, I'm a brand new Christian. I don't know anything about God. This is all brand new to me. Mm-hmm. And I go into his world. He becomes the youth pastor. It makes me the youth pastor's wife. And I was scared to death. And he would say things like, we'd go on youth camps. Here, Danielle, you go teach the girls. I'm like, they've been in this longer than me. They could teach me. I know nothing. I'm 20.
Right.
They're 16. They know more than me. I felt so intimidated and inferior. And then when I learned personality types, it set me free because I thought, oh my gosh, I am okay. This is who God made me, and He can still use my personality.
Right.
I don't have to act, wear my hair up in a bun and dress super conservatively to fit. I can just be me. And so it was life-changing for me.
At what point did you learn personality types?
I learned it at 30 years old. There was a woman that came into our church. She came into a women's ministry meeting, and she had developed this survey, and her and another person. And when she taught it, I just went, oh, my gosh, I will teach this. I will teach this. She no longer teaches it. She let me take it and run with it. She does other things. And she became a mentor to me. I followed her around. I went to every meeting she ever taught. And then I talked about it so much because I thought it was so interesting. And anybody that would listen to me, I would talk to them about their personality. And then pretty soon people started asking me to come teach their groups, small groups, and that kind of stuff. And then little by little over the years, I just have never put it down. And now I get to teach in businesses and other platforms. So, and I think people see because it is complicated, I simplify it. And so it makes it easy for people to remember and to understand.
So dynamic traits in living color.
Yeah.
You can download the app today, like right now. Take it.
Yep.
Screenshot it. Share it. Get your spouse. Get everybody to take it.
And my partner and I will interact with you. My partner is. Were you guys ever Amazing Race fans? Mm-hmm. Did you ever watch The Amazing Race?
No.
Okay. Oh, you never did? Okay.
I know what it is, but
well, him and his wife Chip and Kim McAllister, they won The Amazing Race. They were in our church in 2004, so it was like one of the beginning seasons. And we've known him. He's a good friend of mine, and he is the one that he loves the personality thing, very yellow. And so I asked him not too long ago. A couple months ago, I said, "Why don't you create me an app?" Everybody else says you need an app. You need an app. I'm like, I could never do that. And I go, "Why don't you do that?" And he did it. He made an app. Literally, it's brand new. It's in the App Store. You can interact with us. We'll talk to you about it. We are going to have a whole Facebook community with that app. And so this is all brand new. We're just starting it, but people are downloading it left and right. We've got 5-star reviews, stellar ratings, and we're so excited. We're like, oh my gosh, because we love talking about it. So
cool.
Makes it fun.
So not only do you go around and speak to people on personalities, you also do some relationships and then some women only, men only, and then maybe even one where it's both. How is that different?
So I have it's called Dynamic Traits Relationship Series, and in that series I have do different classes and workshops, seminars, some for women only, all about men, and about their own self-improvement, and then some for men. Well, one for men only, and it's all about women. Just talk to them about things that they probably don't know about women, help them to understand them. And then I do a boundaries class, which is coming up in November. Every month I do something. And everything I teach on is about personality, talking about passion and purpose and living your destiny and just how to bring the best out of yourself and out of the people you do life with, your spouse, your children, the people you work with. So everything comes into that. And I'm adding new classes, taking some out. Every year's a little bit different.
Is that the main goal? How to do life best together?
Yes. So we can all live in peace and harmony and enjoy one another. Yes.
Is that attainable?
I don't think it's unattainable.
Yeah.
I don't. I've been married for 40 years. I got a really good marriage. We definitely have our issues for sure. But, if you're committed to your own personal self-improvement and you're Christ-centered, you can overcome anything.
I think that's such an important message for today because especially millennials, it's in, out. I don't really want to be married. I'm just going to be with this person until it's inconvenient or I'm bored. And then you hop over to something else instead of really learning how to
commit.
And plow through those things and appreciate one another. Like you said, instead of, well, they're not who I want them to be, so I'm just going to move on to the next or, date until I'm 40 and then, maybe I'll settle down. And
millennials have gotten, and not just millennials, but that, especially this new generation. I mean, they're really good at jumping in and out of bed with whoever and getting online and dating and hooking up, but they are not good at romantic long-term relationships.
True.
Commitment. And they always think the grass might be greener on the other side, but you still have to manicure and groom and water that grass. Wherever you go, there you are. So this relationship isn't working, guess what? You're taking you with you into the next relationship. So unless you're committed to being the best version of you, and I feel like what I teach helps people love themselves, have compassion for themselves, have compassion for others, and become their best version, the God version of who they are, so that they can have fulfillment and contentment. And I believe that comes in relationships. They say men live longer that are married.
Hey.
Is that true?
They're more healthy.
Test, right?
That's right.
Find out who you are.
Yes,
Get a good
exactly.
life.
Hey, is there anything else you'd like to share while you're here today?
If you're here and you're local, come out
Come
to the lunch
on.
today.
Yeah.
11 o'clock,
Still
right?
make it.
Yeah, at 11. So we're just right here at Abundant Life in Lamarck.
Yeah.
And you got, about 30 minutes?
Yeah. It's
to get
light.
over
It's
and-
fun. It will impact your life. I just taught it for 5 services back to back in Arizona. And the pastor there, who's in his 50s and been married forever, after I taught it, he said, this was life-changing. He said, I understand my wife so much better. And they've been married 25 years. He goes, and I'm like, you've never heard this kind of stuff? Like, you've been in the ministry your whole life and raised in a great family. His parents are ministers. He said, this changed my life. I was so surprised to hear that from someone who's in the know. You know what I mean? He's been in ministry and everything. And from that, he had me come and teach it at his church services. And I said, I can't do it justice in 30 minutes. And he goes, oh, yes, you can. And you're going to. I literally had 28 minutes and they had to take the survey, but I got it done. And it was a challenge for me because I like to tell stories and give examples and have time, but
I'll say in
challenged
the
me.
sessions that I've been in with Danielle, which have been the women's only so far, but today's everybody. It's men, women, it's business teams, it's whoever. I have really enjoyed it. And it's been insightful for me and just reflective to even look back on my relationship with my husband and say oh, I can see this quality in me or something I need to work on or understand him a little bit better. So I'm excited about this one and to see what his colors are because he hasn't taken the survey yet. So
super
I know
fun
what I
for
think,
couples.
but I don't know.
Do you know? Well, what do you think he is?
What do I think?
Yeah, your husband.
Definitely think he's got the yellow part
I
in
do
him.
too.
He likes to win. Like, if it was like respect and winning, I think he'd be like, winning.
Yeah,
and
the
I
red.
think red.
Yeah.
Reds, success-minded, they have to win. Very competitive.
Losing's okay. Like, if you,
Oh,
you, don't-
man.
you
See,
win
that's
some, you
coming from
lose
a green.
some, right?
That's coming from a green.
That's funny. Hey, if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to still share this out. If you're watching on Channel 46, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. This is your new morning routine, and I appreciate you taking the time. Right now, it's 10:36. We're going to go ahead and end the show a little bit early as Daniil and Pastor Catherine are getting set up. The team is outside. I wish I had a camera out there. If we had someone in studio, they could maybe take a mobile cam, but why not just come out? 11 o'clock, we're at Abundant Life, 601 Delaney Road, right here in Lamarck, Texas. And you can download the app as well. The app, what's it called one more time?
Dynamic Traits. Once you press that in, it will come up, but the rest of it is in living color. And you'll see a color chart in there.
Okay. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. All right, Facebook. See you guys. Be blessed. Come out to Jesse Duplantis. Yeah, come out to Jesse Duplantis tonight at 7 o'clock right here at Abundant Life. And it's going to be a good time. Bye.